Good morning. Dwayne here, Dry Creek Wrangler School. Going to do a just a thinking video today. So we're getting this school going, but this has been a dream of ours, of Mom and I, for 20 years. We tried to start this about 20 years ago and it didn't work. And there was a lot of time in that 20 years from then till now that things were pretty lean. And not just financially, things were pretty lean in a lot of ways. Some of you guys aren't hearing the word I'm saying because you're focused on the cigar. You notice there's no band, no brand. This cigar is a Nicaraguan Puro. The filler, the binder, the wrapper is all Nicaraguan. There's a Cuban fella, guy actually from Cuba, who moved to Nicaragua, who rolls these by hand for the fella I got this from. So here before too long, I'm going to do another video and I'll talk about these and how you can get them. But that's not what we're talking about today. 20 years trying to do something like this, and all of a sudden now everything's falling into place. Why is everything falling into place now? What if we had given up? And in a sense, sometimes we did give up over the years. If we said this just isn't working, it's not working out, it's not fate, it's not the will of God, it's not whatever, and we had just quit. What if we had just said no? But if you've been following this channel for a while, you know that I read quite a bit. I don't read as much as I used to, but I read quite a bit, and my reading is pretty eclectic. And I was reminded recently of some Shakespeare. Shakespeare? Yeah. Some Shakespeare that I had read years ago. Now, Shakespeare wrote in the play Julius Caesar a lot of years ago. He says, "There is a tide in the affairs of men, which taken at the flood leads on to fortune. Omitted, all the voyage of their life is bound in shallows and in miseries. On such a full sea are we now afloat, and we must take the current where it serves or lose our venture." Now, there may be a direction. You might be a young person or you might be an older person, and there's a direction that you've been fighting, that you've been wanting to go for years. Maybe it's a career, maybe it's just something else, who knows? And no matter how hard you've tried, it just hasn't worked. Well, there's two things, I think. This is just Dwayne, and there's no authority, no weight in it. This is just my opinion, okay? I think there are two things that are necessary for success. One is there has to be a tide come in. There's a tide in the affairs of men which taken at the flood. The tide has to come in. Now, whether you want to say fate or God, or however you frame it, however you understand it, things have to work out. But the other thing is there has to be preparation. So what he's talking about here, I mean, the picture he has here is a ship. You take a merchant ship, all right? A merchant ship is sitting at the dock, and it has a great voyage to make. And at the end of that voyage, there's a chance for great fortune. But until the right tide comes in, which picks that ship up, that ship cannot leave. That ship is waiting on a tide. But there's another side to that. What if the tide rolls in, but the ship has not been stocked with provisions? The ship has not hired the sailors and what it needs. The sails are not in repair. The boards have not been caulked. It's not ready. The work has not been put into it to be ready to go whenever the tide is high enough. So if you go through all the work and all the labor to get prepared, but the tide isn't right, you're not going to go anywhere. But if the tide comes in and the tide is right and you haven't put in the labor and the work and the study, you're not going to go anywhere. And you're going to be sitting, as he said, in shallows and in misery. So my encouragement to young people is two things: preparation and patience. Preparation and patience. And for not so young people, you have a direction you want to go. You have a dream in life. Don't let go of that dream. Be patient until things work out. But put in the work to be prepared. All right? Put in the work to be prepared. Mom and I, 20 years, tried to get this going. Couldn't get it going. But we continued working. We continued in the field, the area of life that we wanted. We continued to learn. We continued to grow, not only learn and grow in our horsemanship, but as people, to mature. If this opportunity had arisen 10 years ago, I couldn't have done it. If the land and all the partners and everything had come in, I couldn't have done it, because I, as a man, was not mature enough. I was not complete enough. I was not calm and settled enough. I wasn't prepared. So if the tide had come in at the wrong time, my venture would have still ended in shallows and in misery. And so anyhow, hope that encourages you. Hopes that helps you. Click like if you like it. Hit that subscribe button, and subscribe if you haven't. Share it if someone you think it might be a little bit of encouragement. And we'll talk to you guys next time.